Confucius is the most celebrated teacher and philosopher in Chinese history. He is known as teacher exemplar for a myriad generations, or the greatest sage and teacher. As a teacher, he paid special attention to learning. He once said that he never gets tired of learning and teaching, which shows that he must have a lot of learning experiences. Everyone can find their own way of learning from the wisdom of Confucius. Next, let's get some learning wisdom from the Analects, the dialogue between Confucius and his students. 1. Confucius said, "Is it not pleasant to learn with constant perseverance, review and application? Is it not delightful to have friends coming from distant quarters? Is he not a man of complete virtue, who feels no discomposure though men may take no note of him?" It's the first paragraph in the Analects which shows its importance. It seems that Confucius is talking about three different things, but there is actually a temporal continuity and connection between them, and it implied that this is all based on Confucius' own learning experience. These sentences are interrogative sentences, which remind us not to forget the joy of learning. When we learn new things, as long as we review and practice frequently, our understanding of the knowledge will be deeper, and then we will find it more interesting and we will be happier because of it. Then what will happen? It will attract people with the same interests to come from afar to meet us and exchange ideas. The friends mentioned in the paragraph refer to people who share the same topics, interests, and goals with us, and they will study with us enthusiastically and happily. Learning is not limited to books, but more importantly, getting along with others, enriching learning both in the mind and in interpersonal relationships. But on the other hand, even if you spend a lot of time learning, there may be people who don't know you, can't understand you, or don't agree with you, which can cause tension in our relationships with others and self-doubt. Since learning is useless, why should we learn? So Confucius emphasized that we should not feel angry when others cannot understand us. We learn for ourselves, not for fame. What we should do is focus on ourselves and not care about other people's eyes, even if others can't understand us, it doesn't matter. This is the right behavior of a wise man. 2. Confucius said, "They who know the truth are not equal to those who love it, and they who love it are not equal to those who delight in it." Confucius revealed to us the secret of how to achieve good learning results, that is the attitude of learning. As the saying goes, interest is the best teacher. When you become interested in something, you will naturally learn better than others. Especially when you have a genuine desire to learn and have fun doing it. Just because you know something, doesn't mean you love it. Just because you love it, doesn't mean you can really enjoy it. What is the difference between loving it and delighting in it? Try to think about it. If you turn your hobby into a job, can you still enjoy it? A person at the delight level will spontaneously explore a wider field and maintain a strong desire to learn throughout his long life. In the process of learning, he can appreciate a kind of infinite freedom and happiness in life more than the other two, and he can also achieve better results. In terms of your interests or the knowledge you have learned, what level do you think you will be at? 3. Confucius said, "Learning without thought is labor lost, thought without learning is perilous." It brilliantly expounds the relationship between learning and thinking. Learning is the foundation of thinking, and thinking is the expansion of learning. The two complement each other and cannot be neglected. Confucius said, "I have been the whole day without eating, and the whole night without sleeping, occupied with thinking. It was of no use. The better plan is to learn." Learning can improve your knowledge and skills, and thinking can help you strengthen your ability to distinguish right from wrong and further internalize what you have learned. Only by paying equal attention to the two can you really benefit. Today, We live in a world full of information, and thinking is more important for learning. No matter what kind of knowledge, if you don't think in the process of learning, it is difficult to truly understand what you have learned, and you cannot use what you have learned to deal with imminent problems. You may even learn the wrong knowledge, be unable to distinguish the true from the false, and easy to follow others' opinions and lack assertiveness. On the other hand, if a person only thinks but does not learn, his ideas must lack a reliable foundation and have no practicality, and he may become self-righteous and full of prejudice. It is very dangerous for such a person to make any plan. Therefore, it is necessary to think from learning, to learn from thinking, and both are indispensable. 4. Confucius said, "When I walk along with two others, they may serve me as my teachers. I will select their good qualities and follow them, their bad qualities and avoid them." There is a story said, the Irish writer George Bernard Shaw is famous all over the world. Once when he went to Russia, he met a cute little girl on the road, and he couldn't help chatting and playing games with her. The old and the young had a good time. While leaving, Bernard Shaw told her, "Remember to tell your mom that you met with a great writer today." The little girl smiled back at him, "Remember to tell your mom that you chatted with a lovely little girl today." The writer suddenly realized that he was too arrogant. He later said, "I really learned one thing, no matter how much I have achieved, I should not be complacent. Even a little girl can be a great writer's teacher." The premise is that you must remain humble and have the ability to reflect on yourself so that you can make up for your shortcomings and make yourself better. 5. Learn as if you could not reach your object, and were always fearing also lest you should lose it. Here Confucius vividly described knowledge as a treasure that one should pursue and cherish. Knowledge is unlimited, but life is limited. For the knowledge you don't have, you should worry about not being able to catch it up. It implies that you should cherish time and study hard. For the knowledge you already have, you should worry about losing it, so you must review it from time to time. Confucius believes that learning should be active, the thirst for knowledge should be strong, and every moment that can be used to learn should be cherished. 6. If a man keeps cherishing his old knowledge, so as continually to be acquiring new, he may be a teacher of others. Why? When we are not familiar enough with what we have learned, we are not good enough to be other people's teachers, otherwise, we may mislead others. If we often review old knowledge, observe and practice more, we will have the opportunity to discover details that we have never noticed before, and we can also revise our cognition and enhance our experience again and again. Until we are really familiar with and master the knowledge, then we can be other people's teachers. 7. In ancient times, men learned with a view to their own improvement. Nowadays, men learn with a view to the approbation of others. For Confucius, the ancients learned for themselves, but it was a selfless act instead. Because they learned to improve their own wisdom and virtue, and to practice it in daily life, to educate all beings, and to benefit society. This is called learning. But now a lot of people don't know why they have to learn, maybe it's for the expectation of their parents, or just to gain fame. Compared with the ancients, it is a very strong contrast. A real gentleman will pay attention to his own character and learn for the benefit of society and the happiness of all mankind. 8. Confucius said, "Those who are born with the possession of knowledge are the highest class of men. Those who learn, and so, readily, get possession of knowledge, are the next. Those who are dull and stupid, and yet compass the learning, are another class next to these. As to those who are dull and stupid and yet do not learn, they are the lowest of the people." People's talents and life experiences are different. According to Confucius, they can be roughly divided into these 4 types of people. But even Confucius once said that all his knowledge came through learning. It can be seen that there are very few people who were born with knowledge. The point is, everyone can acquire all kinds of knowledge through learning, even if they are not talented. It depends on whether they are willing to take the initiative to discover their own shortcomings and learn actively. And the only exception among the 4 is, people who do not learn at all. Obviously, there will be a big gap between them and the other 3 types of people. 9. Confucius said, "He who aims to be a man of complete virtue in his food does not seek to gratify his appetite, nor in his dwelling place does he seek the appliances of ease. He is earnest in what he is doing, and careful in his speech. He frequents the company of men of principle that he may be rectified. Such a person may be said indeed to love to learn." The value and belief of Confucianism is to serve society. Therefore, capable people do not put their energy on satisfying their own comfort, but on doing things that are beneficial to society. Be diligent in what you do and be careful with what you say, so you can create a good atmosphere for social interaction. Be willing to be close to wise and virtuous people, and take their example as the standard for self-regulation. If you can do all of these, then you can say that you are a gentleman who knows how to learn well. 10. Zigong asked, saying, "On what ground did Kong Wen-zi get that title of one?" Confucius said, "He was of an active nature and yet fond of learning, and he was not ashamed to ask and learn of his inferiors. On these grounds he has been styled one." In ancient China, when dignitaries die, they were given posthumous titles. Kong Yu's posthumous title was one, so he was called Kong Wen-zi, and Confucius explained the reason to his student Zigong. Learning is a long process. But some smart people are impatient to learn, always thinking about how to take shortcuts. In learning, people will definitely encounter problems and have doubts. Some people are unwilling to ask for advice humbly because of their own sense of superiority. In particular, for them, it is impossible to seek advice from people who are younger, less educated, and of lower status than them. Being too smart to learn, and being too snobbish to ask are the 2 major obstacles to learning. What Confucius said is to teach us not to hesitate to learn hard, and not to be ashamed to ask questions humbly, so that our wisdom will grow. These are some tips about learning that Confucius once said. Did you learn something? If you like Asian classical stories or want to know more about Asian culture, please don't forget to subscribe for more new videos.